Hello, everybody. It's Ronan and Jenny here in Dublin, and we're delighted to be joined by Michael Schilling all the way from London. Those of you who are cherubs and in the
Hello.
MPP know Michael very, very well. And those of you who follow Engage will have seen his work around Instagram and his lessons on that. Say hello, Michael.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, so I'm going to hand over to Jenny now so we can get started. So the agenda for tonight is we're going to go through the questions that you've given us since our last 3XM live events. And then we're going to hand over to Michael, and Michael is going to bring you through a canvas that he's already set up on Facebook. And then we can take your questions. So if you have any questions, just type them in there and we'll deal with those questions at the very end. Okay, over to Jenny.
Cool, thank you. Okay, thank you so much to everyone for joining us on this, well, it's pretty rainy Wednesday evening here in Dublin. Hopefully it's a little bit nicer where you are. So we've had a lot of questions since we ran our 3XMSocial event. So I'm just going to get straight in there to answer these questions. For those of you that maybe weren't at our events, just to give you a little bit of background, we've been pretty much doing a bit of a tour of the UK, doing kind of Facebook for photographer training, and they ended last week for the next couple of months. So we're finished for a few months, but we've had, like I say, lots of questions come in. So rather than me trying to handle each question on a one-to-one basis, we're going to share all of the questions and answers here. So I think a lot of people have had similar difficulties since the event. So we'll quickly go through them. And then, like Ronan mentioned, there's a new feature in Facebook that's very, very new, launched just late last week, called Canvas. So Michael's been working on testing that out, and I've done some testing as well. So we're going to just run through that to show you exactly how that works as well. Okay, so question number one. The first question was, I think it was from Nikki Bamber, who said, I can't see how to create an ad. I've clicked on the icon, takes me to a list of choices, but she could not see anything in there that gave her an option to create an ad. So I think what was happening for Nikki here was she was clicking create ad. So she was clicking on that big green button, and then she was getting brought in here where you choose your objective. Now, each one of these is an advert. So I think that perhaps was the confusion. I'm not sure if Nikki is on the line, but if she is, she might just clarify that. But essentially, anytime once you go into your adverts manager, click on create ad, and any of these objectives will turn pretty much anything else you do into an ad. So you can boost your post and that will turn it into an ad, promote your page to increase your page likes, and so on. Hopefully that's a little bit clearer now. The second question, or the question I got asked a lot, was I created a post and boosted that, but I couldn't figure out how to exclude people that like my page. So when you're choosing your audience, location, and so on, if you look on the right-hand side of your screen, this is the view you should see. And when you get down to that bottom part where it says connections, if you haven't done this before, it will just be blank. So you need to click in there and choose Facebook pages, and then choose the option that says exclude people that like your page. And if you have more than one page, you can add in more than one page into there as well. Yeah? Okay. The other question I got asked from about 10 different people was, can you remind me how to access the competitor insight data and how to access my own and how to view that? Now, a couple of people were on to me about this and they couldn't view this section titled pages to watch. So what I may not have mentioned at all of the event, so sorry if I didn't, but there is one caveat to this, in that you need to have 100 likes on your page before you can access this. So if you've been racking your brain trying to figure out why you can't find it and you have less than 100 page likes, that's why. So maybe do a bit of an ad to increase your likes so you get to that 100, and then you'll have access to this in here. If you do have more than 100 page likes, you will be able to do this. So go onto your page, select Insights, all the way down to the bottom, choose Pages to Watch, and then click on Add Pages. You'll automatically have your own details in there. So on the example I've used here on the right, this was for Nick Pierce. So the bottom one there says Pierce Photography. So that was his page, or is his page. So your page will automatically fall in here, and you'll see where you rank then in comparison to your competitors. Okay, so question 4, actually, I think this was Nikki's one. So, and this was on the Cherubs forum for those of you that have seen it. So she created an ad. the problem, as she saw it, was she basically did a get people to claim your offer ad. So for those of you that were at the 3XMSocial events, I think, and my memory, if my memory serves me right, I said this was the only one that I didn't rate. So the get people to claim your offer was the one I mentioned not to do, because you don't get any of the data from people. It's really difficult to figure out who they are and try and contact them and so on, as Nikki has now seen. And it is really difficult. I think she said she had, whatever it was, 12 people click to claim her offer, but only 3 then contacted her, which was still really good. She had 3 people inquire and so on. But if she wants to do it differently, she's saying, you know, what could I have done differently and how can I get these details? Well, I would suggest either selecting the send people to your website objective or the collect leads objectives. So if you want to run a special offer like a free engagement shoot or a free bump to baby session or whatever it might be, and you're looking to collect email addresses for people that are interested in that offer, collect leads could be a good one to try. There's a couple of questions coming in about whether this session is going to be recorded. It is being recorded, so we will circulate the recording once we're finished. So this is another question from someone. So they put an advert out, they've tweaked it a couple of times, but they're paying about £1.20 per website click. And they're saying, you know what, maybe I'm being too specific with my audience, but is there anything you can help with? And I'm going to go through your slides and so on. Sorry, Roland's having a coughing fit in the corner. Anyway, £1.20 for a website click is pretty high. I suppose my observation on that is when you're starting out, you know, your audience might not be very well defined. You know, you're trialing a new audience maybe for the first time. You're trying a new ad for the first time, new images and new messages and so on. So there is a little bit of trial and error in here for that initial period until you find an audience that's going to work well for you or a message that's going to work well. So I suppose this comes back to, you know, let's start off small. Let's start with a really small budget. And then when something starts to work, then spend more money, because you don't want to really be spending £1.20 per click to your website. This one was probably one of the tougher questions that I got in. So I think this was Gillian Lloyd, but essentially what she's saying is when she's doing a post to get more page likes, do I have any kind of ideas on tried and tested language, something that's worked before? She just did one and she had pretty, what she says, diabolical results. Again, if we just go back to what I said a second ago, so if you think about you're starting out, it's a new audience and so on. So there is a bit of trial and error in there, and it is a pretty steep learning curve. But is there a winning formula? The short answer is no. It's really difficult in terms of you need to test different messages, test different creatives, test different audiences to see what's going to work. But I tried to pull together some examples of some good ads. Now, these are not completely related to the photography industry, but I'm hoping that these might inspire just a couple of different ideas. Like if you look at that 360-degree development Happy Tummies ad, this to me could be sort of copied and a little bit or amended slightly for a cherubs type campaign or a newborn type campaign. Like that kind of image is something that's really going to resonate, I think, with new moms and so on. It looks good. Your message is below. The Shutterfly one up on the top right, very hard sell, 40% off everything. You know, these are different things that you could try. And then on the far right, the little baby image obviously looks good and it's all about baby names. Your message will be quite different. You might have promotion in there, or one of your soft sells, or you could just link straight to that article about baby names if you're a newborn or a baby photographer. I have a couple more here. Creative Live. If you start to look at the types of ads that you click on, try and ask yourself, well, why are you clicking on it? Usually there's a bit of an emotional reason. There's sometimes a bit of a rational reason, like a free trial or a book now or win a free shoot. You know, I don't have anything to lose. So as you look at ads now going forward in your newsfeed, try to understand why is it that you're clicking onto that ad. And then you can start to use that in your own ads. Okay, this question. Can you explain how to create a sponsored post that has a learn more or similar in the bottom right, but also features the section in the top which tells people which of their friends like the page? So I found one in my own newsfeed. So that's what you see, the Deliveroo ad. So this is essentially what this person is looking to try and emulate. So it's an ad that brings people to a website. The call to action is learn more, but it also has a little like page facility at the top. And it has, well, in this case, my friends that like this page. So this is a clicks to website ad, but it's targeting friends of people that like your page. So if you look at the bottom of the screen there, there's a section called connections. So again, when you're choosing your audience for this ad, rather than put in age, gender, location, so on and so forth, you can still keep that in there, but you need to add in connections and choose your Facebook page and choose friends of people who like your page. So now it's going to target the friends of those people that already like your page, and it uses their names in the top of that ad to show kind of in context, well, who of my friends already likes this page or this service or this photographer or so on. Okay, so just to recap, it's a click to website type ad, so you get to choose the call to action of learn more, or it could be shop now, or whatever one you choose, whatever call to action button you choose. But in your targeting, if you choose friends of people that like your page, the people you're targeting will then see which of their friends likes this service or this product or this page above the ad. Okay, hashtags. So if anyone was at the Hinckley event, so I have often said, you know what, use hashtags. They don't cost anything. If someone then uses a hashtag like they're used on Twitter, they can search for that search phrase and so on. Very recently, I read an article that basically said posts on Facebook with hashtags get a lower level of engagement than those that don't have a hashtag. So I've very recently changed my tune on this. However, I haven't fully tested this for myself. So I guess my main point is, don't take what I said before as gospel in terms of always have a hashtag. It is important to test these things. So if you maybe test a very similar message to a very similar audience, one with a hashtag, one without a hashtag, you'll soon see which one is getting a higher level of engagement, and then you can judge for yourself. So the jury's a little bit out. There was, like I say, a very recent publication that said, don't use hashtags. They're going to lower the level of engagement you get. In the past, it was always use hashtags. So I guess let's try a bit of both. But let's try both and measure to see what works best for you. Okay, I think there might be a few questions, Roland. So maybe we'll take a couple of questions now and then we go on to Canvas.
Sure. So I'll just change the screen over to you, Michael, and while we'll do that, I'll ask some questions
I'm going
to
to
Jenny.
start on Canvas anyway, if you want to leave the screen here.
Are you going to stay on Canvas?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll just do an intro.
The only question we have then is, can I tag videos? From Samantha.
Samantha, can you tag videos? Okay, well, let me just deal with the issue of tagging in general. So in theory, from a Facebook business page, you should not be able to tag people at all. So there is a bit of a workaround, and anytime I talk to people about this, I explain what the workaround is. So if you're friends with that person outside of your business page, you can switch to your normal personal profile, tag the person, switch back, and so on. The same rule applies with Facebook. So you need to be logged into Facebook as yourself to be able to tag people. But of course, if you're not friends with those people, you won't be able to tag them. I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, maybe pop in another question in there and we'll come back to it in a bit. Okay, so I know most people are here today to learn about Canvas. So I'm going to pass over to Michael in a couple of minutes, but just to give you a quick intro, basically Canvas is a new format of advertising on Facebook. It's designed specifically for mobile, so it's not actually available on desktop. But this is it in a nutshell. So it's a new format designed only for mobile. I like to think of it as a mobile landing page, although it's much easier to create than a mobile landing page. I think when I read why Facebook designed this and developed this back a couple of months ago, it kind of came about from, obviously, like I always say, more and more people are on their mobiles looking at Facebook. And mobile websites are notoriously slow to load. So what was happening was people were on their mobile, clicking, linking to a website. It would take 1, 2, 3 seconds to load, and they've already left and they've gone somewhere else. So one of the ideas behind Canvas is that it's really quick to load so that when people click on it on their mobile device, they can see a lot of content very quickly. It's really easy for you to create a canvas, and Michael's going to show you exactly how. You can use basically anything that you would normally use on Facebook within a canvas. So you can combine images, video, carousel ads. If you use product catalogs, you can do all of that from one canvas. And you can still include call to actions, which for me was one of the most important things. So you can still link off to your website or link off to kind of a more information or to buy now. So that was pretty cool. If you have your mobile phone in front of you, so if you have your mobile phone close by, what I'm going to ask you to do is go to your Facebook Pages app. And if you navigate to the 3XMSolution page, the reason I can't show you this on screen, because the canvas that I made earlier to show you, so here's what I made earlier, doesn't play on desktop. They're designed, like I say, for mobile only. So for you to see the one I made earlier, you need to go to our Facebook page. If you haven't liked it, please give it a like while you're there. So when you navigate to our Facebook page, I don't know if you can see this, the top post you should see will say, it starts with, click for a fully immersive experience of our beautiful new premium colors collection. If you click on that, you'll be able to see a canvas that I made earlier. So that's just to give you an idea.
So just a clarification that, Jenny, am I right to say that they have to be in-app on Facebook rather than getting through Safari?
So if you're logged into Facebook via Safari or Google Chrome or wherever, anything on your mobile, you won't be able to see this. You have to be in the Facebook Pages app to see that. So I just took some photos of it earlier on. If you can't get onto it right this minute and you're frustrated and you don't know what it looks like, there's a couple of little snapshots of how it looks. It basically has a tap to open button. Michael is going to show this in much more detail now. But you can scroll down, you can tilt the phone, so it looks really cool when you're tilting the phone around, and you can zoom into all of the images. Like I say, it's pretty much a mobile landing page, so much more information than someone would normally see in just one single advert on Facebook. So I'm going to switch to Michael now to go through exactly how to make this. And if you have any questions, keep firing them in there in the questions, and we'll come to them hopefully before the end.
Okay. You let me know when we're switched over to me.
You get a signal now, Michael, to say that we're going over to you.
Okay.
And just know when we can see your screen, Michael, because there's a slight delay, so just bear with us. I'll let you know when.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
Clearly, I would never make a photographer from those images.
Okay, Michael, so you're live to us now.
We're in live. I'm using this. Some people's Facebook pages might look a little bit different at the back end. Mine's in grey because I've got this, like Jenny, we've got the same sort of business. What's it called, Jenny? I can't remember. I don't really know. Yeah, because we've got lots of different accounts that we manage from time to time. We're using this business manager, but for others, it'll be the normal blue. But I'm in the publishing tools. This is kind of where you're going to find this. You can use Power Editor, but it's a little bit clunky. This is probably the easiest way to find it and get started. And down the bottom here, here's all your regular stuff that you'll find in there with the lead ads. I'm a big fan of those, and Canvas. I'm a little bit gutted when I first started looking actually at the Canvas. I'm a little bit gutted we couldn't put lead ads in the Canvas, but that's another thing. It's a good start for me, Canvas. There's a lot I think hopefully they develop and bring into it, but what I think it should be is more of a sort of soft sell, and then link and then do a hard sell with a harder ad from there. But I'll show you the template that I've done. I've got a finished one and I've got a draft one. Once it's published, you can't make any changes, but you can use that to make a sort of template. So with this finished one, for example, if I hit view and then try to make any changes, it'll make a copy like this, and then you can make changes. So some canvases you might want an element in them that's the same every time, and I'll show you those a little bit further down. Some you might obviously want to change or make completely fresh. I'm going to go right to the start, so let's move. Start off, you can choose a different theme, and this, if I slide down a little bit, literally change your sort of background here that's appearing behind the images. Because this is a cherubs canvas that I created, I did a nice sort of cherubs purple that will sort of float around in the background. The next section is your header, and as you can see right at the very top there, I've got the little cherubs logo with some little hearts floating around and a little background, which is the opacity set to about 50%. The recommended size is 120 pixels by 44, but I didn't do it that size. I did it, and I hope I got the numbers right. It's 882 pixels by 66. What it means is I could do a nice, that's about as wide as I could get it. You'll still get that sort of border. If I change the opacity here, if I put that up a little bit, you can see that is, it's still that little border there. So, you know, if you just wanted a white background like that, that's quite nice. But I thought 50 looked quite nice. It's entirely up to you and fitting in with your branding as well. And you can change that background color if you wanted to. Again, the header needs to be there. It always stays at the top. It's not something you could move around. The photo is the next point. But I did this to kind of appear kind of as big as possible, really. It would appear that was almost like the full size of the phone. And again, I've used larger sizes than is recommended. And I'll try and find the sizes for you. But they do recommend a size of 640 pixels at least. You'd want it at least that wide, and you can go to about, I think, 1900 pixels long. And I put a photo in there. I got a little bit lucky in as much as the size that I put in there, when it cropped and appears actually on my page when people are looking, it cropped and went into the face, and even the arrow was pointing into the mouth, which looks a bit odd. But if you wanted to do a nice landscape size image, the size for that is 1200 pixels by 628. And hopefully that should do a nice landscape image, which will then again appear on the little preview. This can be a clickable link, and there's where you put the destination URL. For us, again, it's a Cherubs program, so we're clicking that to a special Cherubs page. You've got a few options here. You've got the tap to expand, so if you put a very large panoramic landscape image, you can tap and make it bigger. And the tilt to pan, so if you see Jenny's demo at 3XM, you can see how that tilt to pan works out as well. The next point, and I put a few little buttons in here. This is the little button element there. It's again very simple to use. Put in a little bit whatever text you want, whatever URL you want to go to. I tried to put an email, a mail to email. That didn't work. It wouldn't let me do that. So it has to be to go to a web page or wherever you want them to do. What I should point out, the way they might be going to different parts of the website, but on my actual website, I'm tracking and I'm creating audiences for where all these people are going. So I'm creating a brand new audience for every time someone clicks Cherubs or goes to this particular page. I've got different areas. The same goes for other areas for like maternity and newborn. And I'm creating individual audiences for those, so I can then remarket with different ads that are more of a hard sell. What they've kind of found out, they're doing a lot of testing with some quite big brands, and they're throwing around lots of quite big numbers, and they reckon that these ads are going to appear 10 times faster. One of the big things, they were saying that on average people were spending, in quite immersive canvases, they were spending around 3 minutes looking at all the different elements. So if you've got quite a lot in there and you've got a lot of video, people spend a lot of time, and one company was getting an average of 70% click-through. Now that's someone who spent a little bit of time looking at all your stuff and then they've clicked through. Even if they don't take an action straight away on your website, if you're then remarketing to them, that's absolutely amazing. And that's really the kind of the goal between sort of lead nurturing. But I'll go on. That's the little button. Here you can have little text blocks as well. That's the next section. You can have up to 500 words. I wouldn't have 500 words. One thing that this could be used to is almost like a little tease to a blog post, and there I'd have maybe a few paragraphs, but people aren't going to probably sit and read a whole big article coming next month, I think it's the 12th of April, Facebook are going to launch instant articles, which looks very like Canvas, but it's more basically your blog post turned into a Canvas essentially, so it's going to be faster as well. The next section is Carousel. Carousel is a bit of a favourite of mine. I do like these for different ads that we do. And if you see the demo, you can just slide along. I did big, long portrait ones. And if you have a look here, I just put a little thing. I'll probably put that in the wrong place here. I'd maybe move that up to the top and put it there so people will know different things. And each one, if I go to the very first section, I'll put the photo in. Again, it does suggest the size. And these all go to different links, so they're different offers that they go to. And they can just slide that with their finger as well. That also has a tilt to pan option. So, and that's a nice little feature. This might be something that I would keep on as a template and have all my different offers. If I was doing a canvas that was more of a blog post, you could use this as a related articles style carousel, which will work quite well. So if you've done a lot of articles, if you're writing anything about anything, if you're writing about weddings and there's different blog posts that relate to that, this is a great place to put links in there and get them looking on your website. The next one is a little video. So you could, it says keep under 2 minutes. I probably wouldn't even do 2 minutes. I'd maybe do a 1 minute video for whatever you're doing. I just did a simple slideshow on here. And what's great about it, it does start automatically. So when people scroll down, and this will be the view that they have, that starts automatically. And this can be actually your very first thing you put up at the top. And the first thing that actually appears on your Facebook page is a little video, and as soon as they click on that, they're going to go straight to your canvas. And that might even be a better way to bring people into your canvas than a single picture. Down here, this was a little experiment where I tried to put a phone number in and see if people could click it, but that didn't work, unfortunately. There's also the option to add components, and you can move these around. Again, if I click up and down, that moves it up. I have found that there's a few little bugs, but it seems to be working today okay. So you can see me just moving that video up. I can even move it just above the carousel ads. So if I wanted to, I could bring that all up the top, or here just obviously delete it or move it down. Add component. Again, this has pretty much gone through all the different things I've just gone through. We can add another call to action button. Again, it's just a link call to action. It's not, there's no data capture here or anything. So again, keep everything quite a nice soft sell. So if you think that everything's, you could put enough things in there to sell the idea, then they want to click that's a good thing. The carousel, that could just be images, and I think you can have quite a few of those in there, or it could be links, obviously different parts of your website. Photos, and I think you can have about 20 photos that are appearing on the canvas, and you've got a text block and then a video, and then you can add those in and move them around till you get something that's you're quite happy with, really. So there's a lot to explore. One of the things that I thought I might do in the future is to create a canvas for each part of my website. So I've got a whole maternity section. I'm going to take the best of the images, a little bit of text, say a bit about what we do, and have that as a standalone sort of canvas, which will then drive people to my website and find out more about that. And maybe each week I'll create a different canvas for each part of my website. But that's one of the ideas I've been thinking about what to do. Once you've done here, it's a bit of a pain to preview, to be honest. At the moment, I'm sure they'll change it. You click the preview in device, and that will send you an email, and then you'll be able to open it on your phone or something like that. But it is, I will kind of trust this to begin with. But once you publish it, like I say, that's pretty much it. And even in testing, I did accidentally, because I was doing it on desktop, accidentally publish it about 3 times. So just keep an eye on what you're doing and have a mobile phone handy when you do it. But that's pretty much it for my sort of little look inside.
Okay, Jenny and Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael, for that. That was absolutely amazing.
Really
it was
good.
wonderful.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are on the Cherubs page, private page. You can go there and you can see Michael has done a video of that. And we'll also be making this available as a recording. So don't worry if you get a little bit lost, you can play it back later. So a couple of questions for Michael and Jenny. So is Canvas for when people are not using Facebook from an app on their phone? Or is it when they go to Facebook via their browser?
Will I take that, Michael, or do you want to answer that?
You can take that one.
Okay. So essentially, Canvas is, like I said at the beginning, a new ad feature. It's only available for people to view when they're on the Facebook app on a mobile device. So the important thing to remember is you can create as many canvases as you like. You can create them. If you don't publish them, they're not going to go anywhere. But once you create one, once you click finish, so when Michael was showing that example, when you click finish, you can hit a little button called get URL. So Facebook basically give you a unique URL for that specific canvas. So then you can go and create an ad that has the objective clicks to website, and you can copy that URL in there. And basically what it does is it shows an advert. You design an ad as normal, but instead of bringing them to your website, it will bring them to your canvas. So I hope that makes sense. But it is not available. Your canvas will not be able to be viewed on a desktop or outside of the Facebook app. But it's not bad news because most people are on a mobile device now on the app. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. But I guess the important thing to remember as well is if you are doing an ad to promote your canvas, and if you're doing a click to website ad, you need to make sure you choose to show on mobile device only. You probably will be pulling your hair out wondering why it's not getting approved or why it's not allowing you to continue if you have desktop selected and right-hand column and right-hand side and Instagram and so on selected. It's only available on mobile, so you have to deselect all of those other options if that's what you want to do.
Okay, another question. Are you creating on desktop or mobile?
Well, when I did it, I created on desktop. I think you were the same, Michael, is that right?
Yeah, everything. I kind of sized everything up in Photoshop and then obviously did everything on the desktop.
Yeah. Okay. So Michael had this issue and I had this issue earlier today as well. So when I created the canvas on desktop and tried to publish, I kept getting this repeated error message and it was really frustrating and I was about to throw my computer out the window. But what actually happened was that the post did publish, but it's not viewable on a desktop. So of course I couldn't view it on the desktop. Yeah. So you need to definitely have your mobile to hand so you can do something, preview it on your mobile, amend it, look at it again on your mobile. And when you create your canvas and you hit save, you can click on that little link that Michael showed earlier to say preview on device, and you'll get a notification on your personal page on your mobile, so you can click in and do a proper full preview before you hit publish.
Okay, Paul Inskip wants to know, do we know how quickly they'll be rolling Canvas out to everyone?
Okay, so I asked a Facebook rep this yesterday and they said everybody should have this now. So if you don't, send them a mail, but it should be under publishing tools and on the bottom left you should see Canvas, but you should have it now.
So Sarah asked a question that she's lost. She can't find the Canvas builder, so I presume that's the same answer.
Yeah, well, where you find it, so if you go to your Facebook page on a desktop, if you look at the top, you'll see where it says Publishing Tools. So if you click Publishing Tools, you would have seen this when Michael had the screen open. On the bottom left, under Lead Forms, you'll see Canvas Builder. It's probably the easiest way to do it. You can also do it from Power Editor, but I won't bog you down with that. I wonder, could we go back to your screen, Michael, just to show where you see that, so everyone is exactly clear on how how you find how to create a new one? Do you have?
Your screen is live.
Oh, there we go.
We haven't yet.
So when you're on your page, click on the far right there up the top where it says Publishing Tools, and then you'll see on the bottom left, if you're not on this Canvas section already, you can just click on Canvas. And there's some demo models that Facebook have there as well, like Canvas Tutorial. You can click in there.
Yeah, that's the demo there.
Yeah, to view the one they made earlier.
So there was a whole load of people, Michael and Jenny, who were asking where can I find it. So I don't know whether this has gone live to everybody yet or not.
It should be live, yeah. If you go to Publishing Tools, bottom left Canvas, you should be able to see it there.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a whole lot of people saying I don't have it yet, so I don't know.
Okay, if you don't have it yet, like it only literally went live, I think, was it last Friday, Thursday, late last week anyway. So it may be just part of their rollout plan that maybe not everyone has it yet. But if you go to the Facebook page called Facebook for Business, And there's lots of ways to contact Facebook via that page. So just pop them a little mail to say, you know, can you have it, or why haven't you got it, or whatever, just to try and get them to make it happen quicker.
There's a facility, Jenny, is there, to ask for it? So Gillian is asking, can you repeat how to ask for it?
So I actually did this months ago before this is available, and I'm not sure if this will help at all, but if you go, I don't have the URL to hand, but I will find it after the webinar and email it to you all. But there is a page all about, if you just Google Canvas for Facebook, there is a page that explains exactly what Canvas is and so on. And at the bottom of the page, there's a button that says Get Started with Canvas. And then it brings you to a form that you have to fill out to request access. Now, that form was built and available pre-launch of Canvas. So to the kind of early advertisers that were using it and so on. So you shouldn't have to do that. But again, if you don't have access, it may speed up the process for you to be able to access this. So it's certainly not going to do you any harm anyway.
Okay, Sam wants to know, does it cost more to boost the Canvas adverts?
Not as far as I'm aware, no. It shouldn't do. Like Michael mentioned, some amazing stats. People are really immersive with this kind of, well, with the tests that Facebook have done so far. Like clicks to a website kind of objective that you're choosing. If you bring them to your website or bring them to a canvas, you shouldn't be penalized for bringing them to a canvas. I would imagine because it's new, in fact, you probably have lower costs for the clicks because they will want people to get on board with this and test it and start using it. So hopefully it will be cheaper initially, but I haven't really fully, like we put our first canvas live today. So honestly, I don't know how it's going to compare cost-wise versus our standard ads yet. Michael, have you had any kind of cost comparisons that you've seen so far with your ones that you've set live?
I mean, first I just tested the organic and see how that went, and that was pretty average. It reached about 25% of our fans, which is sort of normal for something that's fairly interesting. And then I haven't boosted it much, but I think what I'm going to do is start off with a large audience and really get as a big audience as I can. So you might even want to spend a little bit more money on getting a big audience, because then what you can get is a really, really refined audience from people who actually click through. And you got to think most people who are clicking through your links, you know, they've already spent a little bit of time looking at your business, looking at your samples, whereas people who are clicking to your website straight from an ad, you know, they might not even see your website. If you look at your soft bounces and everything on your website, people might be there for 10 seconds and not see any content whatsoever. So at least with the canvas, you know, they spent a little bit of time, and if they scroll down to the bottom, those are your most valuable people. So throw out a nice big wide net, I'd say.
So you're going to use this then, Michael, to basically capture a big audience and then funnel them through the canvas, and then when they get to your website, retarget them, because it's a bit of a harder sell. Then is that what you're going to do?
Yeah. So I mean, I think using it as a soft sell is great, because there's so much you can put in. It is like it's a smaller version of your website, and it works really, really fast. I was amazed actually how quickly it appeared, and knowing people's attention span. And even just clicking, you know, if people want to go and see 26 pictures of cats falling over or dogs that look like people, even those people get irritated with slow load speeds. Yeah. But with this, it's so quick, and, you know, it's a great way just to really showcase. And this is a thing people, you know, Facebook are doing. They want you to stay within Facebook, and this is why lead ads work so well. For us, success-wise, lead ads are great at capturing data because they're not leaving Facebook and they're not waiting for anything to load.
Yeah, cool. I think there's a few more questions, is there?
I don't think so. There's a couple of people who have their hands up, and I'm not sure why they have their hands up. If you have a question, guys, if you can just put it into the question tab.
Yeah. So just, I suppose for me with Canvas, it's a brilliant, like it looks great. It's a really great way to get, like what Michael was just saying, get people immersed in your content. But you probably know this, when you're on your mobile phone, you expect things to happen instantly. If there is a slow load time for a mobile website, you don't wait around for it. You know, 3 seconds for a load time is a really long time. So with Canvas, that is brilliant that it loads really quickly. It's all instant, and you can engage with people then and show them a much greater amount of content. So I'm going to start testing this for our business with things like our Explore blog, like what Michael mentioned. If you have a blog and all kind of related articles, so we'll use the carousel piece like that, and essentially just to house a lot of that content, so they're not clicking through to a mobile blog website, which may take quite some time to load because there's a huge amount of content on there. So we'll use it for that. We'll also use it to promote our 3XM social events. So we'll probably have little video snippets of, previous events and tips and a little bit of kind of links to blog posts related to it and so on. So it's so new. I mean, our first ad went live today, so it really is a case now of, like everything, testing it. It's a new format, so I think it's quite exciting right now, and I think eventually it will just become like all of the other ad formats on Facebook, and it will just be, one of the many tools we use to try and drive business. But I saw, and I was trying to think of some examples that you guys might be able to implement, and even things like certainly like the cherubs example that Michael showed looks great. If you're a boudoir photographer, I think
I thought of one for weddings, actually.
Go on.
I thought of one for weddings, actually, in which, when you were talking about 3XM galleries and the fact that you've got social sharing in those, and even if you were previewing, say, a wedding image or a small collection of wedding images, and then you have the link within that went straight to their gallery, I think that's just a great way.
There's a nice
and I know you've got
advertising message for 3XM.
That's a good plug, yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. I mean, there are so many different ways that I think it's brilliant, and I'm really excited now to kind of keep testing it and see where it goes.
Okay, I have another question for you guys. So a simple question, but customers can only see a Canvas ad on your My Facebook business page, ?
Okay, Alan, they can see, so you define your audience, so you define who you want to target with this Canvas ad. So let's say you want to target engaged brides to be in London with your Canvas. Anyone who falls into your audience criteria will be targeted with that ad, but they'll only be targeted with that ad for the Canvas on their mobile device. So the ad will appear in their news feed on their mobile. If they're browsing on a desktop, the ad won't appear. So it'll appear on their page if you do it that way. If you publish it like what Michael has done onto your own page, and then you boost it, it will still appear in people's newsfeed, but it will also be on your page. I hope that makes sense.
Okay, another question from Leslie. Leslie says, how do you retarget those who've responded to a previous ad ? And then this is a question to you, Michael, which is linked to that question. Michael, you say you can funnel any responses to different pages of your site, but I don't know how to collect details of these.
Okay.
Over to you, Michael.
The first part, I've been trying to figure out a way that I can create an audience from people who just visit the Canvas. It might be possible, I haven't quite worked it out. I think you'd have to create it, make it an app, and then there's also something.
Oh, we lost you, I think, Michael.
Sorry, Michael, we've lost you there.
Is to actually create an audience. Go on, sorry?
Sorry, Michael, we lost you there for about 20 seconds, so you might just want to just
Okay, all right. Okay, so in an ideal world, what I'd like to do is create a custom audience from people who are actually visiting the Canvas. That might be very difficult to do or impossible to do at the moment. I'm not too sure. I haven't quite worked it out yet. But with the links that you create, if you went to seminars, I think, Jenny, you did show kind of pixels and putting pixels on your website. Yeah. You only need one pixel on your website, and then when you create a custom audience, you can create basically a custom audience that will basically be all the people that visit that particular page. So, for example, I have a page. I'm tracking every single page. I create custom audiences for every different page in my website. So I have my maternity section, and one of the buttons in my Canvas might be learn more or see more maternity images or anything like that. Then what I can do, if you go into custom audiences in the back end of in your audiences in your ad manager, what you want to do is create custom audiences and then do a clicks to website, and then you actually put the URL in for for the page that you want to do. It's a bit hard to explain without showing it.
No, it's quite hard to explain. Leslie, I'm not sure were you at any of our 3XM socials. If you weren't, it sounds like you need to come along to learn about custom audiences and pixels and retargeting. If you were at the event, you should have got the slides. I sent them out, I think, Monday of this week. So if you have the slides, it's all on there. But yeah, if you haven't been, come along, because we go into that in lots of detail, and it makes a lot more sense when you can see, how to do it, and you can follow it step by step.
So Jenny, Sally Ann says, you were about to say something about boudoir.
I forget what I was going to say now. I think I was just thinking about some examples of how the canvas could be used for the different genres of photography. And I just think particularly for boudoir, there's a lot of information that your potential clients want to know, like, why should I book this, and how do I book it, and what do I need to know before I book it, and what kind of prep do I need to do before a boudoir shoot, and do I need to bring my own underwear? And there's a lot of information that people want to know, I think anyway, before any kind of shoot. So if you put your mind into, put yourself in your customer's shoes and just try and think, what kind of information do they want? And then try and build your canvas to deal with all of that and to answer any of those questions that they might have. So in a very short Facebook ad, it's really difficult to do that. And again, if you're sending them off to your website, it might be in 4 different blog posts, or there might be one section on packages and another section on what to bring and another section on how to prepare. But now you can collate that all into one quick little canvas, and it loads really quickly on people's mobile. So very quickly, if I'm your customer and I'm trying to book a boudoir shoot, I can see exactly what I need to know, how I need to book, and so on in one quick go. But again, the same can apply for any genre, whether it's wedding photography or newborn photography or commercial photography, or of course boudoir as well. But I just think now it's brilliant. Rather than them clicking all different sections of your website on a mobile when it's really slow, it's all there in one place.
Okay, a question from Sam. Does the canvas activate when you click on it, or when you're scrolling down Facebook like videos? And the second part of that question is, and does it go full screen on phone?
My test that I've done so far, because I've used a canvas and click to website objectives, you have to click on a normal ad, what looks like a normal ad, except for it has a little arrow, like a little upside down V shape, and it kind of tells people click to see more. Then once you click it, the canvas completely fills your mobile screen. So was that the question?
That was the question, yes. So there's a question about, does it start automatically like videos do?
Okay, so on the ones I've tried, no, it doesn't start automatically. You have to click on it to view more.
Have you anything different than that, Michael? Or
yeah, no, that's pretty much the click to open thing. It's and it's written in white. I think it's white text.
Yeah.
Let me just see.
So
you got to be quite wary. Yeah, grey sort of colour. So you've got to be quite wary actually of the colour of. It's a little thing. Well, sometimes it's just an arrow. But yeah. But yeah, I think when this becomes more companies are using this, people get used to clicking these. But it's so fast how it opens. I'm looking at yours here.
So the next question is, are they planning to roll it out on desktop too? And we don't know the answer to that, am I right? However, we do know from Facebook's last financial results that 80% of all revenue they're making on ad spend is on mobile. So that means that advertisers are spending 80% of their budget targeting people on mobile. So they're obviously putting more and more resources into developing tools to help that mobile advertising platform.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think they are constantly, in terms of the user experience, they want people to stay within Facebook. So like I said, with the new ad, what did I say was coming next month? The instant articles, you basically have your blog post hosted within Facebook, that opens up in seconds, and you have videos and everything there. And yeah, people aren't visiting your website, but they're actually looking at your content, and people can get very hung up on people not going to their website and just staying in Facebook. But at the end of the day, if they're absorbing all your content on Facebook, it's better there than waiting for a page to load on your website, which is probably bogged down with plugins and all sorts of things. So, yeah.
There's a lot of people having difficulty trying to find how to contact Facebook. So perhaps we can send an email tomorrow. We'll send an email to everybody with a link to the recording, and we will give that information in that email.
Yeah.
So I think there is one more question. There's a really similar desktop version by Adobe.Slate, not Facebook, but super awesome if you're interested.
Ooh.
That's from Helen.
Okay, thanks, Helen.
Okay.
Check that out. Sounds good.
We've another question from George. If you don't use Power Editor, it looks like you need to request access through your page publishing tools. There is a form you can complete to request Canvas Builder access is prioritized.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, that form is still there. Like I said, I applied and filled out that form months ago when I first read about Canvas. So I just assumed, and when I contacted them earlier this week or last week, they said the rollout was done, it's available to all advertisers. So my understanding from that was that everyone should have it, but it's probably just part of their rollout. So if you see that form, and I'm going to send you the link when we send out the recording of the webinar, if you don't have access to Create a Canvas, just fill out that form, because maybe they are prioritizing it based on that form. I mean, I don't know, who knows how these rollouts work, but like I said before, it can't do any harm. So I'll send that in the email.
Another question from Sally Ann. I created an ad today for weddings, but wanted to move the radius around to position it over my area. It only let me drop a pin and set a radius, not move it around.
This is on the location targeting, I take it. Can I just read that again? Sorry, back up for a sec. Creating an ad for weddings. Want to move the radius around to position it over my area. It only let me drop a pin. Okay, so you can either clear that and drop a new pin, or I don't know, would it work if you're in like a town, like we're in a place called Maynooth? Could you just type in the town plus 20, 50, whatever kilometers or miles, whatever that's in? I had this issue with Mark Bailey when we were doing the experiment with the Photographer Academy, because he's right beside water. So every time he dropped a pin in his area or did plus 25, it literally covered water. But of course, there's no people there, so it's not going to affect, your numbers on the right-hand side. Your estimated reach will still be accurate, if that makes sense. But maybe try, rather than dropping a pin, just typing in your town or city or county or whatever that area is, just type it in rather than drop your pin if it's not going exactly where you want it to go.
So that's all the questions we have, and I think our time is nearly up. I'd really like to thank Michael for joining us tonight.
You, Michael.
That was absolutely amazing. Thank you.
Very good.
Thanks for inviting me.
Can I ask Michael one last question?
Course.
What are you most excited about with Canvas?
It's the speed. It is the fact that you can showcase so quick, like so much in such a short amount of time, and that's the reason everybody should be jumping on board.
Cool. Thank you.
So thank you all for coming tonight, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Jenny, I think you have a small hard plug before we go on a special offer. Or?
Oh yeah, for those of you that were at our 3XMSocial events, if you were not there, come along to the next ones. We have some in Falkirk, Cardiff, Exeter, and the Midlands later this year. But for those of you that were there, don't forget you have still got a 20% off voucher to use for both Photo Value and 3XM. The code is 3XM followed by the location of where you attended your event. They last for 1 month from the date that you're at the event, so it's just a quick hard sell reminder that's going to end pretty soon, so don't forget to use it.
So bye from us in Dublin, and Michael, say goodbye too. We'll see you all soon.
Bye from London.
Bye now.
Good night.